Good morning. After dosing myself down with mosquito repellent, I'm outside going to do some more of my yucca project. So take a bundle of yucca, and after it's dried, set it in the water. And I'm just going to wring it out. So now we just have some nice yucca fibers, nice and damp. This is not all of the fibers, it's just a small bundle of what I have, but these are pretty long strings. So now we have to get on with making some cordage. So I'm going to move my bucket of water and let's get cracking. Okay. So I started a piece yesterday, and it looks fine from here, but the start of it was rather thin, which I didn't want. I wanted it thicker. So instead of continuing with this piece, I am going to go ahead and start a new one. And whatever it turns out, we're going to use. I've got a few different bits of cordage that I've worked on here, but most of this is flax. Like this here is flax that wasn't properly retted and still has a lot of core material in it. Still made some good strong rope, but I'm not going to use it for this purpose. I set all my corded bits off to the side, and so I have this piece here. This piece is a nice piece, but it's not going to be the best. Well, I guess it'll fit in the eye of my needle, but it just fits. So we'll see how that goes. So at least I know I can make a piece this thick for the project, which will be fine. All right. So lots of stuff around this place. So we're going to start. Grab a few fibers here to start with. Just like this, and then we just give a twist, make a loop at the end. Make a good tight twist. Just twist. And having it damp definitely helps in having grip, because the natural pectins on the fiber, and just allows it to twist really nice in the fingers. It does take a little bit of practice to figure out excuse me, when it starts to feel thinner, then you can take just a couple thin pieces, lay it across, and I do like the technique of doing that. because it leaves no little bits poking out. And keeps both sides reasonably the same thickness, so your cord is pretty symmetrical. And that's the goal. And go down until it starts to feel a little bit thinner. And after a little bit of practice, you'll feel that it gets a little bit thinner. So you don't go to where it's too thin. And just a couple strands, not a whole big wad of them. So if you get too many, then it's too thick. Just a couple. Then you have to go down far enough to where it gets thin again. And just your standard twist and turn. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stop, since we don't need to be watching boring making cord on video. I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and we're going to make a length of cord to do the nalbinding with. And so that's what this project is. So this is my start, and we'll be back in just a few. So I have an arm length, a little more than an arm length of Yucca Cordage, which the end is starting to dry out a little bit because of the wind that we have this morning, which is actually very nice to have here today since it's been very, very hot. So the next bit in this nalbinding project, let's see how I get on with this. Not too overly confident here, so just gonna thread the needle, and my cordage fits easily in the needle that I've made. And then I take that, kind of open up this end, and run this through to make a loop. So being that I'm not very coordinated with this stuff, so from what I remember on the video, I just go under, I guess I can kind of snug that down a little bit. So there's a second loop. This is my first. This is a loop that fits around this one. And then again, let's see, that doesn't look right. goes up. And now I have 2 loops. Up again. And now I have 3 loops, 1, 2, 3. And then this is the original loop. It wants to kind of wind on itself there. So something wrong there, so I'm just gonna undo what I just did. So I've got 1, 2, 3 loops. Four loops. 1, 2, 3, 4 loops. My big loop. So I kept my original big loop big, just so I can keep track of it. And this would almost seem like somebody could make a really nice fishing net to go scoop stuff up. That's what I'm seeing that this would be very useful for. It may have been. You know, you've made a hairnet. A hairnet's been made. Okay, so here's another loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Starting to get a little tangly here. So I'm going to make another loop. Just down towards the end here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops. And 7 loops. So now I can see how that each one of these little loops just kind of wraps around the big one, then you make a bigger loop. So you have your daisy flower thingies or whatever you want to call them. Loops. So that's kind of a big opening. But probably shrink that opening down a little bit. change my loop sizes a little bit, but I'm not. I'm just, well, a little bit. So there, my original loop is a little bit smaller, but not too much smaller. So there's my start. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to make some more cord and we'll move along. Okay, so let's go ahead and make some more cordage here. So I have my beginnings with my needle up against the work and my cord. So this will be just a short bit here, and then dampened everything again because it was starting to get dried out from the wind, which again is a very nice reprieve from the blistering heat that we've been having around here. So this side is a little bit thinner than this other side, so I'm going to just put a nice big long piece there. The other side got a little bit of fiber too, but not a very long piece. So most of the fiber is going to go to this one side. So twist a little bit. And then add in just a few more. And this time I just added a piece in just on the one side only, which leaves a little bit of hang in there, so you got to kind of break it off. Still need a little bit more on this side. Add another single. Twist it in. And again, it's just a matter of getting all the bits smooth. So they're equal in size. Consistency. One side to the other for making your cordage. Helps make for better cordage. But just little bits at a time. Again, I'm going to add just a little bit more on that side. Looks like things are pretty good. And we'll just bust off those pieces here in a bit. That's too much at once. A couple fibers at once. Just add them in across so we get equal on both sides now, since my sizing is now a bit more consistent. And then just continue making cordage. And again, redamp it as needed. So again, that's getting thin quickly. So take another batch, twist that in, and each time you do that, when you twist up a little bit, it shortens everything. And when you put a new piece of fiber in, it just increases the length. So one side's longer than the other, so now I got to offset what I'm going to put in to, again, balance. It's just a balance. And also offsetting things makes things stronger. Lots of overlap from side to side. And I'm going to do a little bit more length on one side than the other. I'll go down a little bit, and then I'm going to see if I can do what I saw in the video. And the blue jays love harassing other birds. Lots of blue jays on the property. I think we're going to stop here in just a second. Again, you got to watch me do some more twisting. I think it's a good thing. More you get, and just realize that this is, I'm not doing a demo piece. I'm actually going to make something. So we're just increasing the cord as we go. So now I've got another increased bit. I'm not going full arm's length at this point, but I could go to another arm's length. So let me find where we're at here. Okay, from what I remember on the video, I would at this point increase. So let me adjust my camera here real quick. So I'm going to increase, so that means I need to do two loops on each of the new loops that I had made. So I'm kind of seeing how these loops work. So here we go. Oh, let me clean the fuzz off. Remember when I added in without putting it on equally on both sides, creates stuff that needs to be pulled off, otherwise it's going to get tangled. So you shorten them up considerably. I don't think you have to take it just enough to shorten it up so it's not going to be all tangly and snarly. Okay, so now I'm going to leave a little bit of corded on my needle, so I'm not working right down at the end here. So just kind of keep it like that. So I've got this length here to at least start. So I'm going to do a loop. And then a second loop. Now I've got 2 loops there. And then I would move to the next and see all the snarls that take place here. So that's okay. So then I would move to the next loop. Loop. And then come around to do another loop. And then I'd need to move to the next one, and then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. So, see how quickly that sucks up fiber. But this is getting bigger, so now I have to make some long lengths. So now I'm going to go away for a bit and increase the length of my cord considerably, and I'll be back. So now I have another a little more than an arm's length worth of cord that I just got done twisting up. So now I can see where my 2 loops are on each loop. Got 2 loops here, so I need to move to the next. Pretty simple, but you got to be able to keep track of your loops. So there's 1 loop. So 1 loop crosses between 1 loop and the other loop to get those 2 loops. And then a second loop. And the next loop. Oops. That's the wrong way, so that loop and Another loop. Bring that around. And with the next loop, bring it around. Another loop. I got one more big loop to go. I think I see the end. Not yet. So again, two loops on this one. And two loops. Onto this one. And it looks like I'm back around to where I started the two loops. And again, you can see how short, but you can see how this works. This is stiff enough so you can actually see the loops you make and where they start, where they end. It's not all super floppy. So right now, that's the point I'm at. I need to make more cord already, and then we can go from there. This is where we're at in the Yucca Cordage Nalbinding project. I'm going to stop here. We're going to continue later. I think this is a good point to stop. We have plenty of fiber sitting underneath here, and our loops of cordage, bamboo needle, and things are drying out a little bit, so I'll have to dampen them again. And just wanted to give you a good, show you what it looked like. And we'll be back in a little bit.